1. Sagittarius and Scorpio. Sagittarius woman and Scorpio man. They will surely be a very successful pair, and they will have to work a lot to ruin an opportunity provided by destiny. They are ideally suited in every part of life, yet there may be certain fights that are common to every relationship, but they are always productive and powerful. They enjoy to spend time at their own company and never get tired, but they wish to do it even more frequently. They also fully comprehend the requirements of each other and realize when their spouse for whatever reason fails to meet their expectations. They help each other actively in achieving ambitions, particularly since they generally share mutual objectives, but they can be confident that they will never compete against one another. Your family life is also a host of achievements and happiness, so that only dramatic occurrences may damage your connection, and it is worth emphasizing that you generally have a lot of luck. Sagittarius man and Scorpio woman. Whether she's Scorpio and he Sagittarius are a suitable combination is not evident, because they have so much as they vary. However, there are a lot of animosities that may make their lives difficult or even make it impossible after a while, so that everyone should be ready to separate, even if they could appear to be a decent pair. The main difficulty is continual envy and distrust of she Scorpio, who is harassing he Sagittarius. Even if he promises her of his commitment on a daily basis, she will never be able to believe and trust him fully, suspicious of something. He Sagittarius is not going to accept that he is considered guilty of anything, especially because he is totally faithful and never offers her reasons not to believe him. This tension gives rise to many disagreements, and one day he could become bored of this. It may be that annoyed by the suspicion of his spouse, he will ultimately provide her grounds and draw the attention of another lady. 2. Sagittarius and Libra. Sagittarius woman and Libra man. There is some uncertainty if they can meet their demands and live up to expectations, as they both have he Libra and she Sagittarius. Despite this, they have a wonderful opportunity to create a successful and happy relationship, as they have a great deal in common, and they will be prepared to meet certain of their expectations if they decide it's worth it. The most essential thing for them is to spend a lot of time together and desire to do that, since nothing can help to save their relationship if they do not feel good with one another. It is worth finding a shared interest or passion, because it will have a good impact on their sense of closeness and collaboration. Creating a fantastic house and a glad family will take a lot of effort, but both of them are strong enough to work hard, and especially aware of the advantages, so it is probable that everything will come to a good conclusion. Sagittarius man and Libra woman. They mainly find common ground when it comes to having fun. They enjoy to relax together, but this understanding is not typically in any other sector of life. It does not only lack responsibility for someone else, it also lacks the necessary tolerance and strong determination to work on their connection. Their family life is a series of continual fights on topics more or less significant, since they cannot almost reach a compromise and expect each other to present themselves. They also lack time and will to ask questions about their common requirements, so they don't even meet their fundamental expectations, and that is the core of all relationships. They would therefore quickly understand that they feel weary together, and that in such an odd relationship there is no sense being imprisoned in, and that splitting and finding someone else with comparable wants and goals for the future would be preferable. 3. Sagittarius and Virgo. Sagittarius woman and Virgo man. Similarities in their characteristics are difficult to discover, and that is perhaps what makes their partnership so effective. They seem to differ in all and especially in their temperament. In any circumstance, he Virgo is very peaceful, restrained, and sensible. She Sagittarius is highly active and follows her intense moods. He can, however, adapt to each circumstance and subject to its whims and allow her to dominate in the relationship, especially if he cares a great deal about it. She will infect him with her excitement, which every day is beneficial, and they will learn a lot from one another in general and minimize the differences after several years spent together and become quite similar, which will nearly make their existence a symbiosis. Sagittarius man and Virgo woman. It is 100% certain that neither she nor he will ever get bored with or themselves in this relationship. It is mostly due to variations in character that generate many issues and barriers to be overcome. They will also learn more and more new aspects of their spouses, and both positive and bad surprises each other. He Sagittarius is a hard-to-handle rolling stone. Perhaps none can accomplish it, as well as she Virgo, who with her knowledge and steadiness can perform wonders. She always understands how to urge him to modify his behavior, since she utilizes constructive criticism to suggest his inadequate conduct, and does so in a way that does not anger him. As a consequence, in nearly every circumstance, it can manage him, and he worries only about him since he respects her and never allows himself to insult or damage her. 4. Sagittarius and Leo. Sagittarius woman and Leo man. Mr. Leo creates a fiery Sagittarius with you, a passionate connection that is always mutual respect and understanding. Each of the partners is enthusiastic and wants to serve social matters with eagerness, a startling unfairness in the world. The partners complement the never-bored experience well and always have a pleasant time in your presence. An excellent combo. Sagittarius man and Leo woman. It is difficult to tell whether there is a future for both of them together, because it depends on themselves and faces favorable conditions. They both dream of a riches, nearly a luxury, and may sacrifice a lot to get it. Thus, they might be termed materialists. But fortunately, love can become more essential than wealth. They vary, though, in the way that he Capricorn typically does it more courageously and riskily. He is more reserved, more easily available to others. When she Leo succeeds in finding a key to her heart, she soon realizes how much emotion beneath the mask of coldness and seeming indifference may be buried. She, however, looks quite volatile, but after getting to know her more, she is not that enthusiastic and emotional, so he Capricorn may be a little deceived. 5. Sagittarius and Cancer. Sagittarius woman and Cancer man. In most situations, such a combination has little chance of succeeding, as too many disparities in their character are impossible to overcome. It's mostly because she Sagittarius doesn't want to surrender to anything or anybody, and any type of relationships would make her quick protest, and he Cancer expects this from her. He wants her to submit to her and give him a sense of stability and certainty. Certainly, in a relationship with she Sagittarius, he will not be happy, especially if she marginalizes him in search of new challenges, bores his incessant whining to remain home. If he feels unappreciated and unwanted, he will probably decide to terminate the connection, at least initially. For her, such a loose relationship might be handy, but she will surely bore too soon. Sagittarius man and Cancer woman. In such a relationship, they should not both feel bored, as they know how to make their lives exciting. Their lives together are highly turbulent, depending on their quickly shifting emotions. When they are in a poor mood, they quarrel much, and these disagreements are intense, but they may come down fast and forget about them. It is important to highlight that they are also compatible, as she Cancer likes to look after the house and makes it a warm place to live, encourages the independent Sagittarius to give up their independence and become sedated. He feels good by his partner's side and restores energy in her presence, especially because he knows that she does not resist him and accepts all of his shortcomings and inconveniences. 6. Sagittarius and Gemini. Sagittarius woman and Gemini man. You only have an opportunity to establish a pleasant and successful relationship if you want it to be strong and working on it. It won't be simple, because they must be mutually comprehensive and tolerant. Their main difficulty is that both individuals like to criticize the shortcomings of others that generate rebelliousness, and in case of another disagreement, every word uttered may be used against them. Moreover, they are both introverted and typically do not have a meaningful discourse on contentious issues. He Gemini especially prefers to criticize his partner, since he cannot stop condemning her for its wasting or the daydreaming that pains her very much. And although she wants to say nothing painful, she does it as a revolt for his cruel criticism. Sagittarius man and Gemini woman. You can't deny that there's a huge emotion between them at first, or even a type of intense love. But the fact is that they simply find common ground for relaxing and pleasure. They can please each other in this field, as both of them love to have fun and know how, but clearly they can't live this way their whole lives, and when one of them discovers that their relationship is dying slowly. Furthermore, financial problems are difficult to solve because they are both carefree and squander plenty of money for pleasure. All in all, any unknown difficulty may put an end to its partnership, as it is too different to find a solution, or, at least, a compromise. In such situation, it even makes no sense to attempt. 7. Sagittarius and Taurus. Sagittarius woman and Taurus man. The connection between them will certainly be highly passionate and intense, but probably brief. What is between them is too weak to build relationships throughout life for years, not to mention. They soon find the ability to work together in the professional area, and they may start working together, operating a business, but it causes emotional disconnection and an event when they understand that all effort is likely to lead to no results in repairing their relationship. It would be better if they did not decide to take drastic actions, such as get married, because it can lead them to be exhausted and sad, but they cannot end the relationship for a few reasons. In the light of such occurrences, people may begin to rebel and even resent each other for the lost time together after years. It is therefore better for them to cooperate solely in their work lives, or to choose other routes. Sagittarius man and Taurus woman. A permanent, stable connection will be difficult to build, as there are numerous intolerable animosities between them. The most frequent is the inclination of Sagittarius to flirt and to adore the company of ladies. Even while in a relationship, while sensitive and emotional, he is unable to suppress his weakness for women. Taurus can't tolerate it always. She wants a guy who can be trusted in all circumstances, but Sagittarius is too unpredictable and temperamental to meet her expectations. If you decide to stay together anyway, you have to learn more about the partner's flaws and trust each other, but also to give up some of your wishes or aspirations to reach a compromise. However, people cannot be certain whether their connection is going to endure, because they might suddenly realize that love is no longer there. 8. Sagittarius and Aries. Sagittarius woman and Aries man. Both of them desire to do things themselves and will do whatever in any situation to have the last word. That is a big struggle for every triviality, and winning the debate is honorable for both sides, so that none will give up. None of them loves concessions, which make it virtually hard for both of them to make significant decisions, and it can be quite exhausting. You may lose a lot, and while you are well aware of this, you are too noble to accept it. Sometimes it seems that they despise one another, but they do not cease loving one another. Therefore, they must put away their pride and join forces in order to attain each other, to establish a harmonious relationship. And benefit of such a relationship is that they never bored together and will constantly talk about it or debate it. But if all in all they do not get the message through, their relationship may not be able to continue. Sagittarius man and Aries woman. She Aries and he Sagittarius may have a great opportunity to establish a pleasant and happy relationship, but only if they both understand enough to accept a partner's weakness. It should not be too hard if they really love each other, as they are prepared to virtually forgive the beloved. He Sagittarius is independent and loves to spend a while away from home, but he needs to modify his hobbies in order to avoid any jealousy if he wants to live with she Aries. This shouldn't be hard if he loves his spouse, and the advantages are enormous, since his partner recognizes his devotion and is likewise willing to make sacrifices. All of this, and the mutual respect which should not be lacking, may provide the foundation for a nearly ideal relationship, and together spend the rest of their lives in peace and happiness. 9. Sagittarius and Pisces. Sagittarius woman and Pisces man. It is better to remain friends rather than desperately strive to have a love connection. Living as friends will certainly offer them greater satisfaction and save a lot of anxiety, and they will likely recognize it quickly. The main reason of failures in the sphere of love is their distinct personalities. and these disparities may be overcome. They will probably opt to divorce for their mutual benefit, tired of working hard to make it work. Though they are able to have deep love and dream of a powerful emotion, they are too different to communicate it and will certainly fail to synchronize this subject. They also have various interests, which force them to spend very little time together, to get to know one another not well, and it leads to additional issues. Moreover, she Sagittarius frustrates a serious Pisces with her temper and carelessness, which can lead to heavy fighting. Sagittarius man and Pisces woman. These two relationships are as intense as they are short. Between them will be a powerful emotion, more like passion than love, and fascination for each other. Suave she Pisces will completely overcome he Sagittarius. Not only will she enjoy it, because it will strengthen her confidence, but she will also be pleased to submit to him. They will disregard shortcomings during the initial stage, intrigued by each other, by complimenting each other, staring deeply into their eyes. But after the first infatuation falls, they grow more conscious that they have nothing more in common. Such routines might prove to be a significant concern, and they will seek experiences outside of the partnership instead of creating certain variation in their lives. They have chosen whether they decide to participate in this connection, despite not being for a good future, as it may always leave a lot of pleasant memories for both of them, so no one should be dissatisfied. 10. Sagittarius and Aquarius. Sagittarius woman and Aquarius man. They have many differences, which are ironically their greatest strength and the purpose for living together. She Sagittarius is extremely vibrant and independent and does not spend a lot of time at home, but anywhere else until she meets he Aquarius. But when she engages in a relationship, everything changes. Nobody knows what makes it so capable of changing for him. And not only does she promise, but also it. He can see this, especially when it comes to being presented in concerns of family life. She strives to perform her homework and satisfy him, since he Aquarius is a homebird which cherishes the traditional family paradigm. He wants his partner to look after her property and ensure that she has all she needs. He's willing to assist her and aid her. Sagittarius man and Aquarius woman. While you strive hard to make it work, neither he Sagittarius nor she Aquarius will likely profit from this relationship, which both will decide to divide after much sacrifice. The fact that there is little possibility of success leads in substantial disparities between the character of the person who is unbeatable, even if he says he is willing to work on this from the outset. He Sagittarius will soon come out to prevail, but will not be sure that she Aquarius is willing to surrender to him at all. And on the contrary, his lack of ambition and comfort-loving character will annoy him. As a consequence, none of them respect one another and start to feel uneasy in their own enterprise, such that they spend less and less time together. Of course, they can spend their whole lives avoiding each other, but certainly none of them will please them, and sooner or later, one of them will decide to put a stop to this soap drama. 11. Sagittarius and Capricorn. Sagittarius woman and Capricorn man. It's not the ideal mix, even if they typically think it's a fantastic idea with their pals. Although she Sagittarius can deal with sedate and responsible he Capricorn or save her from difficulty, it is a poor idea for a long-lasting partnership, because both will quickly become weary of such a plan. They also have a completely different view of their lives, as he Capricorn fulfills his daily duties responsibly, and even feels that it is his most important objective. He can't imagine failure, causing his partner to take too little care of himself, while she Sagittarius is too self-important to take up a similar situation. She always wants to be adored, lured, and the most important thing in the world. More important for him than his tasks or aspirations. Sagittarius man and Capricorn woman. Normally, the start of such a relationship is extremely promising and nothing appears to stand in the way of happiness. They quickly disagree, though, and discover how different they are. They are, above all, unable of finding an agreement to meet each other's demands, since she Capricorn, although faithful to her spouse, is not especially emotional and even reserved. She loves to manage anything and everyone around her, including her spouse, but freely and independently. Sagittarius doesn't want and won't. Moreover, he's quite effusive and not only feels uncomfortable in his arms, but he also looks to be pushing to her. For so many differences, a compromise will not be simple, especially since Capricorn is unaware, as she is accustomed to it, and expects everyone to conform to her, will not the other way round. 12. Sagittarius and Sagittarius. Sagittarius woman and Sagittarius man. Sagittarius and Sagittarius have many commonalities and feel it's enough to establish a great connection from the beginning of their acquaintance. In reality, they are happy in the initial phase, and they also note the commonality of their opinions in preparing for the future. They just come to find some characteristics of their spouse that start irritating them, and either understand that they are not alike or that they are, but it isn't very beneficial for their relationship. Moreover, they often fight and tend to make a great lot of everything necessary, and cannot always be stylish. Another difficulty may be the battle for control, which none of them will tolerate. It generally leads to each other being avoided and makes their house a place where they rarely meet.